The following is a DW Old Testament production. Despite 30 years of marriage, Abraham and Sarah had remained childless, a bitter misfortune at a time when family and tribal leadership was passed from father to son. While Abraham's faith was thus exercised and blessed, the evil men and seducers, among whom Lot had chosen his dwelling, had reached the point of judgment with God. Abraham was sitting in the tent door in the heat of the day when God once more appeared to him in visible form. This time it was, as it seemed, 3 travelers whom the patriarch hastened to welcome. He quickly had Sarah prepare 3 cakes from his finest ground meal, while he picked out a tender calf from among his cattle. While his servants prepared the main course, he set milk and goat cheese before his guests and stood aside while they ate. Showing hospitality to strangers was a serious custom among the Near East cultures, especially those traveling through the desert. There can be no doubt that Abraham recognized the character of his heavenly visitors, though with delicacy and modesty, he received and entertained them according to the manner in which they presented themselves to him. These heavenly guests were the Lord himself and 2 angels, who were to be the ministers of his avenging justice. Their visit was twofold: one to tell Sarah about the birth of her son, which was addressed directly to her, and as her non-belief appeared in her laughter, it was first reproved and then forgiven. The second point of the visit was to warn Abraham of the pending destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. "I will surely return to you in the spring, and Sarah, your wife, shall have a son." Genesis 18:10. While in despair, when the aging Sarah decided she would never bear a son, she had given her Egyptian maid Hagar to Abraham. According to Amorite custom, Sarah could claim any children Hagar might have as her own, and they would become Abraham's legitimate heirs. Hagar promptly bore Abraham a son, Ishmael, who would later become the father of all the Bedouin tribes of northern Arabia, who would later develop the Muslim faith, thus making Abraham a common ancestor of the world's 3 major future religions: the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims. A year after God's revelation, Sarah did give birth to a son whom they named Isaac, which means laughter. 8 days later, the infant was circumcised as instructed by God. When the period of weaning Isaac had arrived, after the manner of those times, a great feast. We can scarcely say what the age of the child was, whether 1 year or, as Josephus implies, 3 years old. In either case, Ishmael must have been a teenager, at least 15 or possibly 17 years of age. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which she had borne, mocking. As a German writer once observed, Isaac, the object of holy laughter, serves as the target of Ishmael's unholy wit and profane banter. Unbelief, envy, and pride were the reasons for his conduct. With this, Sarah became more and more hostile to Hagar and her son Ishmael. Frightened for her son's future, she eventually said to Abraham, "Cast out this slave woman with her son, for the son of this slave woman shall not be heir with my son Isaac." Genesis 21:10. God directed the unwilling Abraham to do as Sarah wished, and Hagar and Ishmael were sent into the desert with only a goat skin filled with water and a small supply of bread. Thus cast out, Hagar and her son wandered in the desert of Beersheba, probably on their way to Egypt. Here they suffered from what has always been the great danger to travelers in the desert: want of water. The boy's strength failed before that of his mother's. At length her courage and strength also gave way to utter exhaustion and despondency. Where she had supported the steps of her son, now she let him droop under one of the shrubs, while she went a good way off not to witness his dying agony, yet still remaining within reach of him. In the moment of despair, an angel of the Lord appeared and directed her to a well of water, and now also, to strengthen her for the future, the same assurance concerning Ishmael was given to Hagar, which had previously been made to Abraham. This promise of God has been abundantly fulfilled. The boy dwelt in that wide district between Palestine and Mount Horeb, called the wilderness of Paran, which became the undisputed dominion of his descendants, the Bedouin Arabs.